No offense, but in your pictures of the oil sheiks who are corrupt, you know, there was no picture of our prime minister, for instance. And I don't know if we can, I don't know if there is no corruption in the Norwegian oil industry. I think there is. How can we counter that image, perhaps, and make populations in the north more aware of corruption and fighting corruption at home? So if you can reflect on that, the north-south thing, and then whether it is useful to organize around the category women. Who wants to start?
Well, on the one hand, it's true that there is more corruption when you have problems of lack of good governance or not respect of human rights or the lack of institutions. Nonetheless, what I would say that it's important to look at, developed country also played a huge role allowing corruption. So, and there is this whole hypocrisy about it. And then, because this is my agenda, I have to say that a human rights approach would also benefit the North. So this is what we need to stress, from my point of view.
Although I don't think it's so much a question of countering the image that it's more corruption in the South, because I believe, unfortunately, that is the case. But it's heavily related to a complex of other problems. Poverty, number one, conflict, crisis, wars. But perhaps there is one element which is missing, at least one. When companies in the north are doing business in the south, for example, let's say if a Norwegian oil and gas company gets caught in a corruption scandal in Angola, that kind of corruption is very much reflected on Angola and not on Norway, where it should be placed. And so that's something that we, in Transparency International at least, is trying to work on.
About what is sustained from the north, you're absolutely right. The secrecy jurisdictions that we're talking about and the tax havens, they're run from the north. For example, London is one of the greatest tax havens there is, so there's no doubt that this is sustained from the north. Ordinary people are increasingly carrying the tax burden, while multinational, profitable companies are allowed to, it's legal, it's allowed to escape tax. And this is what the system is sustaining.
Desde mi punto de vista, está muy complicado. Lo miro complicado en el sentido de que, bueno, en Guatemala predomina la corrupción, el narcotráfico y los impuestos no se miran. Al hablar de paraíso fiscal, que es un término nuevo para mí, porque paraíso fiscal con nosotras más lo vemos como el infierno fiscal, en el sentido de que se suben los impuestos y se baja el trabajo, el salario.
Whatever initiative which can contribute to the fight against corruption and to promote human rights, I think it's only good. But I just want to draw to the attention that, you know, a lot of legislation is already there. So I'm just wondering if that's where the problem is, or whether it's actually enforcement of the legal frameworks that we already have. But I'm raising that as a question.
Yes, I mean a new convention will of course contribute. So thumbs up. They should move for a new international treaties. But at the same time, civil society organization as citizens, we have to put pressure and make sure that the existing treaties are also implemented.
En principio, pues me parece excelente la idea. Sin embargo, ya como lo manifestaron mis antecesoras, en el sentido de que no basta solo con una normativa, sino que hay que hacer viva esa letra. Lo que se hace hay que ponerlo en práctica.
This issue is so big, and sitting listening to you, it's hard to know where to start kind of finding the red thread in this. One of the important things, bringing back to what you were talking about, is encouraging women's political participation and women's access to actually being part of systems. Because right now, women are very active in civil society, but they're not getting into the systems where they can actually make changes.
I think that anybody working in an NGO has or can have enormous power. I think actually that you are able to do much more through an organization or working on one single agenda, one small focused thing, and work relentlessly on that. You may have more power than you will have through a political party. And it's able to get laws changed also from the outside, I know. So it's just a positive note in the end.
I cannot just. I'm so sorry because Mona wanted to add an optimistic point of view, but and it might be that I'm sleep deprived. But the problem is that if there is corruption, we are perpetuating gender inequalities that would not allow women to have a better, an increased participation in political participation. And it's generally a society run by men. So it's this patriarchal society, it's this patriarchal world that we need to combat. So I hope that it wasn't too pessimistic, but corruption is perpetuating and exacerbating gender inequalities.